start. So watch out for anybody. That's the number 50 car down. Who is in charge of that 50 car today? That's Alex Hopkins in 30th place. So anybody from him downwards, I think, are going to have quite the tricky start. So hopefully
And
have...
also, drivers with a clutch pedal might have to keep a foot on the brake because it's a uphill start. And if you accidentally engage the engine, it will disengage that brake, and you will crawl down the hill because if you on iRacing, if you hit the gas pedal and the engine moves just a little bit, that brake is gone, and you might end up with a little bit of a repair bill on somebody's rear wing and somebody's front wing and your rear wing. So it's going to be a tricky start up and down the field, but it's the last start of the season, so it's time to get ready to rock and roll here at Interlagos as we go green, green, green. It's a great start by Leto and Alistair Hayes. They getting a good jump right there. Alistair Hayes getting a very good jump, but up front, Hermer and Giuseppe Lafaro going side by side, heading into the Senna S right there. Leto, he's got nobody beside him, and so he's got the best view of this fight in front as everybody's just filing their way through the Senna S right there. They're heading onto that back straight. Giuseppe defending onto the inside, breaking that draft immediately. Sama Hermer, there you got Leto looking onto the inside for that fight for second place. Behind them is the fight for fourth place as they go side by side. Wide line for Vinny right there, taking the Lewis Hamilton, Max Verstappen line at the start of this race. And getting caught up right there, that's Alistair Hay and Gavin Petty getting in with them as a few of the drivers blinking around in the background right there. But Alistair Hay and Leto, both of them up 2 spots at the front. I would say that they have that start on points.
Indeed, yeah, both Sam Hermer and Gavin Petty, teammates, equally having a poor start. Sam Hermer down 1 position, Petty down 2, so not the start they would have wanted. No way did though, absolutely a rapid start from him. Heads towards the Zheng Xiao corner. A crucial corner this is. You've got to make sure that you maximize the exit, otherwise you're going to be a sitting duck down the back straight, as we see Hermer lurking large in the mirrors, trying to get that position back from Alex Loedo, but Faro up ahead, just absolutely a mega start by him. The gap is up to over a second as they are 2 by 2 in the background. Hermer down the inside, takes his second place back. Loedo doesn't have an answer to that. A little bit of a lockup though. There is more lockups in the background as well. I think one car's gone off the track. And it's
that was Vinny. Vinny has gone off the track, and now this fight for second is still going on. Hermer had the move, but unfortunately, he's in it. And a little bit of an accident getting onto the grass right in the back. That's a year 1 car of Jerome Lamley, who kept it in there right there. But oh my goodness, that could have gotten into a very bad situation if he didn't regain control right there. He was kind of forced out wide onto the grass by Luca Barani, it looks like, or one of the 2 drivers ahead of him. They all came out of the Senna S pretty much side by side with each other.
Indeed, really hair-raising stuff on the opening few laps of this final race of the season. Lucas Marouk up 1 place as we head into turn 10. Vinco Di Pato now through turn 11, the long left-hander of turn 11, one of the biggest tyre killers on this circuit. We'll be hearing a lot more about tyres later. I think it will be time to engage in some famous tyre chat, but Lafaro at the moment not really being able to pull away from Sam Hermer. In fact, I think the opposite is true. Hermer catching Faro by a few tenths of a second on that last lap, so this is definitely not the end of the battle for the lead of the race. Jerome Lamey there, well, he was there, he's gone, but he's back again. There's more lockups into turn 1. But Jerome Lamey, one of the biggest and fastest drivers and biggest names in this series, having some connection issues at the moment, Austin, and that's going to be affecting him all throughout the race.
That Leto under pressure by Alistair Hay up in the battle for 3rd. Leto has dropped down to 4th after that fantastic start, jumping Hay and Hermer, and not able to keep those positions after that great start off the line. Alistair Hayes has been having a good day so far. Up 3 spots, and they're both chasing down Sam Hermer and Giuseppe Lafaro. Hermer just put in the fastest lap of the race of 1:28.3 compared to Giuseppe Lafaro's 1:28.5. So that fight for the lead, very entertaining. A little bit of block for Alistair Hay right there as Lado is just trying to stay with him, but it looks like Hay is just constantly stretching out that pace and being a little bit more aggressive on those tires. And we might see this with drivers being incredibly aggressive and just pushing the car really fast than we are used to here in the iGPFUN series. And I think those are the drivers that are showing their hand right now, are the ones that are really putting in those lap times and putting in those moves. They are going to be the ones to look out for if they try to go for those tires.
Yeah, and actually, interestingly, Sam Hermer is one of those thinking about the Jerome Lamy down the inside of Luca Varani. Or that was Varani trying to get past as we head back to our lead battle. Hermer really stalking the back of Faro now as we head into the braking zone of Ticino del Lago. Through the exit we go. Got to be careful not to pick up a 1X on the exit of the corner. So easily done there at turn 4. So we head through turns 6 and 7. Giuseppe Faro really struggling now for pace. Really coming under pressure from Sam Hermer. Not necessarily on the racing line as much as he would have liked through the midfield section of this lap. Into Bico de Pato they go. Hermer just has more command over the car, but you have to question, Austin, whether this is just Hermer wanting to use all of the available rubber on his tyres and Faro thinking about the long game, thinking about going to the end, trying to manage his tyres, and Hermer at the moment just doesn't care at all, does he?
Yeah, Hermer was the one that tipped you off saying, hey, some drivers might head into the pits. I might be one of those drivers. And, well, they're in the draft right now. They're on the gear mark, going all the way down to the inside, not being blocked into the pit lane, thankfully. As they're going to see side by side. Faro, Hermer, Faro, Hermer, 27.777. It was the fastest lap of Rodrigo Duran. Outpaced him the 1:27.76 right there to take the new fast lap of the race. But our new leader is Samuel Hermer.
Great move by Sam Hermer. Andy Flynn at the moment racing another one of the Formula Dallara 3 cars. I just noticed on my timing stand that Darren Rowlandson has had some form of issue out on track, and that is Gabriel down the inside of another car. Who is that? That's number 23 car.
You look down to the inside of Adam Talsma getting into the grass. That almost looked like two Ferraris coming into each other in that exact same corner right there. I cry every time I think about it, but oh my gosh, that was a very close situation if Simon just kept it in there.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I just also cry when I think about that Ferrari. Alan Day at the moment, 14th place. He's down actually one position, thought he qualified a little bit lower down. So Alan Day, we saw him in qualifying, and he's doing a great job at the moment in 14th place, but you have to think about anybody sort of in this position at the moment, say as Alan is, just thinking about managing those tyres and trying to go to the end, or I don't know, maybe you think about pushing in and trying to take the stop. It's a really difficult question, as once again Sam Hermer sets the fastest lap of the race, and even Rodrigo Duran can't match Hermer's pace, and almost a second now separates P1 and P2. So Hermer doing exactly what he needs to do, but we still think he's going to come into the pits, and Lucas Marouk trying to get past his teammate Gavin Petty down towards turn 4, and Petty kicking up a little bit of dust. And does it look like to you, Austin, I'm not sure, that Hermer's going for the stop, but Petty looks like he's managing his tyres a little bit more? Is Jerome Lamy to the inside?
You got to look at the times and how they're driving. Hermer is putting caution to the wind right there, and he's going for it. But Gavin Petty, I think, might be playing the cautious role right here. We don't see him looking for all these moves right there. Hermer, though, has been making some moves, though. But Gavin Petty, I would say Gavin Petty is the cautious one of the two PDR drivers.
Yeah, it's sort of Hamilton and Bottas-esque. You know, you've got Hamilton with the fastest lap of the race, and you've got Bottas that's going to be quietly sitting there, saving his tyres in and going to the end. Maybe Max Verstappen and Checo Perez's, it's all about tyres. But Gavin Petty certainly not out of this race one bit at the moment. He definitely had the pace in qualifying, and I'm sure he's got it in the race too. And it's all about those crucial final laps at the end of the race that will decide our overall race result. As you see, Loedo as well, just falling a little bit back. He's about 3.5 seconds behind Sam Hermer, and the Wader had that absolutely mega start, but hasn't really been able to capitalize on that too much as we head further on in this race. As we see the number 88 Racing Forces car at the moment go through turn 3, and Laredo's another one of these quiet drivers, isn't he, Austin? You know, he just sort of laps away, and then right at the end, it's like something switches on in his brain, and all of a sudden he's making some absolutely incredible moves.
Yeah, it certainly is. It's kind of like that feeling when you're a driver. I don't know if you've seen the movie Ford versus Ferrari, but you know, whenever the engine hits 9,000 RPM, everything just clicks, and everything just becomes still. And it's kind of like that feeling, honestly, when you just find that moment after the tires get warmed up, and you're just bam, you got the pace, and nobody can catch you right there.
Yeah, Alan Day down the inside. That's Adam Talsmer as well in the background going for a move on Gabriel. Sorry, that's Hector Balaguer. Do apologise there. So that's Andy Flint as well then. Again, oh, my name's mixed up. It's end of the, certainly feels like the end of the season for me. As we see Andy Flint doing a great job. He's down, actually no, he's not doing a great job. He's down 6 places. I'm going to stop talking now, Austin, because I seem to have been on the run of getting everything wrong.
Hey, I think our heads are all a little bit jumbled at the end of this season. We've been talking about so much great races so far. New fast lap by Samuel Hermer, as this is Lucas Maroon going side by side with Lamley. Lamley trying to hold it around the outside right there. Around the outside is absolutely one of the better opportunities for that overtake than going down to the inside, because you can hold it with that speed you gained from that outside line through this corner and heading down into turn 3, but also having a lower wing angle will help you right there. Down to the inside goes Lamley, and Lamley gets P6 right there.
That's indeed, all while blinking at
and
the moment.
And also, Jerome Lamley has the flux capacitor on board, allowing him to warp through reality and stuff, which is also the new Guardians of the Galaxy roller coaster at Disney World.
Oh, iGPFUN always tries to bring you interesting facts every race.
I'm a nerd.
No. Anyway, Lucas Marouk at the moment. So, Austin, we won't be doing this otherwise. It's Lucas Marouk there, thinking a little bit of the longer game. But when you're mentioning downforce levels, it sort of the thought occurred to me that anybody that's going for this, you know, this this one-stop strategy will be almost definitely running lower downforce, would you say? Because you're not running higher downforce for tire preservation. You might as well get the straight line speed benefit, and it looks like Jerome Lamey has got less downforce on board, but Lucas Marouk is in the slipstream, thinks about the outside line. Going to be a brave move around the outside of Jerome Lamey, especially with that flux capacitor built into his Formula 3 car. Can't make the move through the turns 1, 2, or 3 complex, but has the run down into Destino del Lago, and Laredo as well, racing or being caught even by Rodrigo Duran. And we know that Duran was setting fastest lap times just as much as Hermer was. So Rodrigo Duran, is he another one that's going for this one-stop strategy?
Well, Duran's been putting in great lap times. Looking at Lato is running a lower downforce rear wing setting. Now that we are looking at rear wings, but if you look at the rear of Lato's car, actually, I think everybody's kind of running that same wing. It's just, I think some people's sponsors on the end of their rear wing is kind of making that rear wing look a little bit bigger than they actually are. Lucas Marouk at the back of his car, he has the wings kind of combined and with his name on the back of the car to make it actually look a little bit bigger than it actually is.
That's a really interesting point. We'll have to see as that goes through. Yeah, it might just be an
the
optical
year one at
illusion.
the very front of Lamley's car with the small text right there, it kind of makes it look like it's a very small wing compared to Lucas Marouk. So, you know, I think everybody might be running the same downforce levels, aero levels, and aero kits right here than what we usually see at a place like Spa. But here he comes, Lamley on Marouk. Marouk on Lamley side by side in the Senna S. Holding it beautifully around the outside is Lucas Marouk right there, but look out behind him. Yes, they make a little bit of contact mid-corner, and here comes Gavin Petty around the outside on Jerome Lamley after a little bit of contact with the gearbox, but now Petty looking down to the inside, getting a better run on Lucas Marouk, and Gavin Petty, 2 birds, 1 corner right there, up to P6.
Great move from Gavin Petty. Laredo now having to defend from Rodrigo Duran. Does that through the turn 6-7 complex. It's got a little bit of a breather through the midfield section. You have to be super brave if you want to be making moves in this section. Just see Alex Albon v Lewis Hamilton a few years ago. Actually, in this very corner, turn 10, Rodrigo Duran, though, has much more command over the front end of his car, able just to turn in, and just seems like Laredo is suffering from a little bit of oversteer for good measure as well. So Laredo not necessarily... Oh, and he's super wide at Zheng Xiao. That's going to easily allow Rodrigo Duran through. He'll be careful. It'll be good just to not end up spinning, and he does his best.
That's going to leave with his pants down, and he might be caught by Gavin Petty and the rest of the field right there heading into turn 1, because they're going to be at a lot of difference of speeds through that corner, because that corner is all about carrying speed, and Laredo certainly did not. Thankfully, his gap, though, was higher than everybody behind him, so he's going to be about 2-ish seconds ahead of this pack of 3, as they're still squabbling over each other for 6th place. As they're going to go 2, and are we going to see 3 wide right here? Yes, we are. Lamley down to the inside, and Petty stuck in the middle. Maruk around the outside. Petty breaks first. Maruk goes around the outside. Lamley down the inside, and blink and you'll miss it. Lamley into 6.
Yeah, and look at this, Luca Varani behind him, and also the 92 of Evan Way as well. So this battle is becoming larger and larger by the second. Gavin Petty choosing the long-term approach to this race, and I think a little bit cautious, I think I'll use the word, of Jerome Lamy and his blinking, and Maruk as well got on the grass, and before sort of having to turn and brake for the left-hander, had to put in a lot of right-hand lock just to keep the car straight. So it is true that you can turn into a left-hander corner by turning right, but Lucas Maruk now is on the best form to get the pass done into turn 1. He's got the slipstream, followed by Gavin Petty, but watch out for Luca Varani. He is absolutely rapid, and he is close in this battle at a rate of knots, and he is going to be out for blood. He wants to get past Gavin Petty, and once again we head down towards turn 1.
Yeah, here comes Lucas Maruk, just right on the gearbox. They're all just waiting for the end of that corner, and that is a very loose car in the background. That was Gavin Petty sliding through the second part of the Senna S, and that car, well, he certainly overheated those tires. But up ahead, there's Lucas Maruk onto the inside of Jerome Lamley. Side by side, they're going, heading into the double left-hander as Maruk, oh, he just kept it tight, left a little bit too much room, and around the outside, Jerome Lamley is able to hold it right there as they go side by side heading to the next quarter. Jerome Lamley with the elbows out right there, not giving up about a fight, and this is certainly a fight we are seeing for 6th place.
And all while Lucas Maruk and Jerome Lamley were having their battle through turns 4 and 5, that just allowed, you know, Petty, Varani and Way just to catch up once again, and that's going to, this battle very soon is going to include Adam Tausmer as well. So yeah, if you are Jerome Lamey and Lucas Maruk, you might need to sort of put your battle on hold and start extending the gap, because, you know, Petty is struggling on his tyres at the moment as he goes wide at Zheng Xiao. That's going to really allow Luca Varani to be making the move into turn 1, and certainly on the back foot.
Was that a front wing skidding across the track? I think Lamley's car is shedding body parts while blinking, while we were on board with Evan Way.
New weight saving strategy is Luca Varani down the inside into turn 1, so he is now the new holder of 8th place in this race, and he'll be looking to improve on that very soon. As once again, are we going to see Lamey and Maruk having a battle into turn 4?
Well, they're certainly driving like they're about to have a battle, but look behind you. Petty looks around the outside, looks down to the inside, and he's throwing a little bit of a dummy on himself. He didn't go for the move right there, and that's allowing Evan Way to get a little bit closer, but that separation now is making this, oh, that's a big dive down to the inside by Evan Way, trying to make that 3 wide into a very tight corner right there. And Gavin Petty gets through on Luca Varani, but Evan Way is looking feisty.
I think that worked on the wrong person for Evan Way, because I think he was trying to scare Petty into sort of making a mistake, but I think Varani was more spooked by that, as Petty capitalised on that and made it past Luca Varani once again. Whether that was a little bit in vain I'm yet to be proven about that one, because Petty is going to be once again slicing that hole in the air for all to follow behind him. And once again, he's wide on the exit of Zhengzhou, and that's really going to allow Luca Varani to come through. And if you're Gavin Petty, I think if you are going for the no-stop race, you're going to have to start reconsidering, because he doesn't have the pace at the moment. Luca Varani, though, goes to the outside.
I know Luca is always somebody that loves to conserve tires. He's going to go, or try to go around the outside, but you see on kind of how tentative that both of them are heading into the corner. These two drivers know that tire wear is going to be extremely high here. So they just decide to not really send it into the corners. They're going to be very gracious with each other, but they have Evan way behind him. Here's Varani looking down to the inside. He wants to get a little bit feisty, and Luca Varani sends it down low and gets P8 from Gavin Petty. But look at the gap already formed between Petty and Varani, as here comes Evan Way with that little switchback move again, but not going for it on Gavin Petty. But he gets a certainly very good exit right there as everybody slams onto the brakes heading for that corner. But Evan Way, the Canadian right now, sitting in 10th place.
We're sure that Evan Way hasn't got an invisible chicane there that only he can see, because he's done that for 2 laps in a row now. Alex Hopkins.
He probably has the sinkhole that opened up there a few months ago.
Ah, very true. Evan Way, one of the new beta testers for the new Interlagos track. Hashtag soon. As, that'll be on.
No, let's not have that
very form. Okay, let's not. Alex Hopkins in 20th place at the moment, being hattled and hustled by 21st place. That's currently belonging to Reed Dennis. So this battle heating up for P20. Alex Hopkins up 10 places from where he started. Great drive by him. The number 51 car up ahead of him goes very wide through Zhengzhou. Not the only driver we've seen who's done that today. We are now getting into the time where drivers are going to start thinking about making a pit stop, and I'm reliably informed from very Sam Hermer that it's about a 17-second loss. So let's say, for the sake of argument, that it is 17 seconds. Hermer
come back in 10th.
Well, yeah, or if he has a good stop, he could even be looking at 8th place. So, you know, Hermer with that fresh rubber, with that tyre and that tyre advantage, and also, you know, the pace advantage that he's got and the confidence he has, Hermer's looking pretty strong in this race at the moment.
Yeah, it's now looking at 8th place for Samuel Hermer right there. If I was Hermer and I would be having a time to go after looking at everybody else, I would not pit unless I'm 10 seconds ahead of Faro behind. Because you already have the pace, you already have the lead. Why risk it on a tire strategy? The only drivers that should risk it on a tire strategy are going to be the drivers behind you, trying to find some pace out of that.
I think that's an interesting idea, and yeah, you know, it is a risk
because
from
tire
Hermer
strategies are not needed here. This league does not require you to change tires. And we usually see drivers pull off the undercut on places that do require tires. And look at Sion Fessy says from the outside down to the inside, 3 wide of the set ends, but oh no! Catches a curb and goes around. Oh no!
That was his best Fernando Alonso impression, and almost came off incredibly well. Almost did the double overtake, and I think for a few meters probably had, but too much speed in. And rear tyres said, thank you very much, but not today, thank you. As once again, we have the Jerome Lamy Lucas Maruk battle heating up. But Gavin Petty fallen off the back of this one, so it is a plain fight for 6th and 7th with no complications from behind. And actually, interestingly, just looking at the gaps, Varani hasn't managed to really escape Gavin Petty. So Varani, Petty and Way all still within that battle for 8th place. Jerome Lamy there, did you notice, Austin, that the car was really bouncing at the apex? I'm not sure if that is a little bit of a symptom from his connection issues, but to me it looked like the car was super stiff, and the car just wasn't really responding how you'd expect it to over the curbs.
I don't know. I think it might be the blinking issue. I think it might be the setup. All I just know is every time I see Jerome Lamy, I'm just thinking blink, 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 and I think I'm playing I think he's got the power up from Pac-Man, and he's just making everybody else blink. I think somebody got the power up.
Always get a new quote that I just have to like write down because it's great. And we're about halfway through the race, so still halfway to go. Luca Varani and Gavin Petty once again still scrapping out at turn 4, and I think if there's been an overtake at turn 4 almost every lap of this race so far.
Yeah, there's been either an overtake or an attempt on an overtake. It's pretty much one of the most popular overtaking opportunities here because it's a Senna S. That's right after a long straightaway. The car behind you could get an absolute rocket launch of a line with the draft of the car ahead of it, and then it's actually opportunistic just to go down the inside, just sneak one up there.
Yes, indeed, and we're certainly seeing that all play out at the moment as Luca Varani still is the current inhabitant of P8. Gavin Petty, though, wants to
also
take that lease out on P8.
New fast lap for Samuel Hermer as Faro is under pressure by Alistair Hay, who has come within 8/10 of Faro right behind him. That's going to start looking like a fight for second place pretty soon.
And this might really play into Sam Hermer's hands. If they start really fighting away, that's going to give him much more leeway to either extend those tyres to the end or come into the pits, because the gap is now 7.2 seconds to Faro behind.
He does not need a pit. That will just be a massive flex if he pits and then still wins.
I think he will. When I was talking to him, he was committed to this pit stop, although I think they were expecting the track temperature to be a little higher than it is at the moment. Luca Varani there, now behind Gavin Petty, so Petty has made it past. Evan Way trying to pick the pair of both of them. They're going to make it 3 wide as we head towards turn 6. Now Evan Way backs out of that one, thankfully, but I would be surprised if we don't see Evan Way at least try a move into turn 6, because he's been looking super racy all race.
I'm gonna say Evan Way is just waiting for his time. When the white flag comes, he's not going to hold back on that, but he's been in everybody's mirrors, and I think they're now expecting Evan Way to just not try it now, and next lap we might see Evan Way, if he gets a very good run, to look down the inside of Luca. But one thing is, Luca's ahead adamant of this series. I don't think you want to pull one of the riskiest moves that you can on Luca Varani, because he holds that ever so important banhammer.
He does indeed, and especially if you want a place in the next season. Yeah, I think I'll concur with that one. But Evan Way been looking so racy. I'm not sure if he's even thinking about any of the stipulations. He just wants to make those places up, as the way of the racing driver tends to be. Luca Varani now in 9th place, and
Luca's setting himself up for a great run right there. Watch this run by Luca Varani. He set himself up perfectly throughout that corner. He went wide at the start, and that really lined himself up into that draft, heading into turn 4, right on that gearbox right there. And Luca Varani's a little bit too far away to really capitalize on that run. But coming out of this corner, Luca Varani could definitely get a good run, but defended well by Gavin Petty.
Way almost sideways through turn 6, really taking so much speed into the corner. Luca Varani, I think he sized up Gavin Petty now, and I'm not sure if he's sort of thinking that, you know, I can't get past Gavin Petty, but maybe I should just let him start to burn out the tyres, and I can just stick behind and, you know, save some fuel, save the tyre temperature, and maybe go for a late lunch later on in the race.
And there goes Hermer's into the pits! I think we just spin on each other's microphones right there. We just both yelled that out.
we did. I think we're both a little bit surprised to see him in, as much as
I said it wasn't a good idea, but second place, third place, stay out. Samuel Hermer in the pit lane, and I think he's going to be coming out in 7th place. He's already at pit exit. Where is Samuel Hermer? Here he comes at pit exit. No pit speed limiter right there. Sitting in 7th place. Here comes Gavin Petty. He's going to be behind this. He's just going to be right ahead of this fight. He's going to be side by side with this fight, right behind Lucas Maruk. And there's that fight ahead of them. So on fresh tires, Samuel Hermer, only driver to head into the pits this time. And he's certainly been the fastest driver on track. He's got 15 laps to go. Can Samuel Hermer make this work?
but crucially, he's got to survive this opening few laps just in terms of the cold tyres. You see, actually, that's Gavin Petty up ahead. Do apologise, I was a little bit ahead of myself there. Similar liveried cars. Luca Varani there on the back of Gavin Petty, but all the same, Hermer is going to be struggling on the cold tyres, and I wonder, you
and
know,
everybody would know that Samuel Hermer went into the pits because they would have got the radio message the leader is in the pits. And everybody who probably wasn't aware of these tires is probably going like, what? And
Yeah.
LaFaro, is he going to opt in for the pit lane? No, he's not. He played with my emotions just a little bit, hopped into the pit entry. There's Lucas Maruk in the three-way fight right there. Behind the teleported Jerome Lamley, and in the background there is Samuel Hermer and Lucas Maruk and Lado trying to hold around the outside of the blinking Lamley, but they're not going to have any luck right there. But I think all of them are going to try to work together right now because they have Samuel Hermer right behind him. Last lap for Hermer, not going to be really much of a to talk about and a comparing point, but 147.08 for Samuel Hermer last time. You take 17 seconds from that, that would be a...
I'll let you do that mental math, Austin. Is yeah, I think
Hermer's broke our timing tower.
He has indeed. Hermer, I think, has kind of underestimated how difficult it's going to be to get past these squabbling cars. You know, this Lamey Maruk fight was bad enough for him in terms of the race win, but now you add Alex Luedo into it as well. I think he's bitten off more than he can chew here.
Well, okay, I now know what he didn't break our timing tower. That's when he went into the pits. That's the lap he went into the pits on lap 19, but it was a funny look to see if he broke his timing tower.
Well, I mean, I think we're all a bit surprised that he's coming to the pits. Everybody else is. Lucas Maruk there.
Well, he was the one that tipped us off that he was going to do it, but I don't think he was expecting himself to be that far in front of everybody else. And he's just like, okay, I might have made a mistake right here, but he's got to prove it to himself. This has got to be an absolute push right now. We do have a fight for the lead now. Faro and Hay are half a second separated by each other, but this is that fight for the lead. But they do know that Samuel Hermer has gone into the pits, and then they start fighting. That's going to bring Hermer even closer to them. And Hermer just came across the time. Just came across the start and finish line right there. His last lap for Samuel Hermer, 127.91. And the cars ahead of him are going side by side. And last lap for Faro, 127.9. So he's gained, no! Lado really loose right there. There goes Hermer down to the inside. And there is one of the 7 positions needed for Samuel Hermer, who now sits in 6th.
I think Hermer isn't going to be able to do this. Of course, it's yet to be seen. I think the race isn't about how much pace that Hermer can have on the new tyres. It's how much pace that...
He's gained 7 seconds on Faro.
Has he? Because I think he came out at around the same point. Because they've been doing.
He came out 17 seconds behind Faro.
No, he. Because
no. He's gained 2 seconds.
Yeah, that seems more like.
Lado heads into the pits.
I'm not surprised after that spin or that half spin at turn 6. I think that's probably the best job he could have, best idea that he could have had, because that car even looked very, very difficult to drive. But it's really key now. How much drop off do these tyres have? You know, how much grip do these drivers lose every lap? And of course, you know, you always hear in racing something called the cliff, and what it is basically there comes a point when the tyre can no longer generate anywhere near the grip as it could do. It simply just doesn't have any rubber left, and at that point the grip just goes away and you start locking your tyres super easily. You have no grip, and I think Sam Hermer was expecting everybody to be hitting the cliff around the end of the race. So it's whether Sam Hermer can avoid that by pitting, I think, will decide the race win, because at the moment Sam Hermer's pace isn't good enough alone to be able to go to the end of the race without...
Well, we have more than 10 laps to go. We have 12 laps to go at the end of this lap, so we're still at the very front of this entire tire change window that Samuel Hermer kind of put on for himself. And his pace right now, it's looking like he can definitely close in on Giuseppe Lafaro. His last lap was a 127.88. That was Giuseppe's fastest lap of the race so far. And here comes Samuel Hermer for comparison. Hermer's last lap of the race, 127.45. 4/10 faster this lap for Samuel Hermer. And Lafaro, he's got Alistair Hay, and Hay might start battling with him to make that gap even smaller right there. But mathematically speaking, I think Hermer threw this race away unless the tires have fallen away and Alistair Hay starts fighting Lafaro.
Yeah, certainly. It's going to be, I think we're going to have to see in the last few laps, and I think it's the only way we're really going to be able to tell who's going to be taking the victory and whether this gamble for Hermer is going to pay off. But
and also, it's nighttime. The drivers have switched over to their clear visored helmets.
Oh, Evan Way in the background there, getting all a quiver on the exit of turn 8. And you're right, they've all changed to their clear visors. Thankfully, we it's all automatic in iRacing. We've advanced to the future where you can just switch helmets mid-race.
Untint helmets. And Way is really struggling with those tires. He's fallen off the back of this group. That's the Canadian, and are we going to be seeing it again? Well, that corner is pretty much designed for you to go wide, but not too wide. You'll fall off the side of the road right there and end up in the grass and get lost like Kimi has done before.
I was trying to make the first Kimi reference in this, and you beat me to it, Austin. You beat me to it.
Just like my I rating.
We see Luca Varani ahead of Gavin Petty once again, and I think Sam Herman will be a little bit not upset, but it would have helped him so much if he could have had his teammate, you know, sort of say ahead of Jerome Lamy, just able to back up the pack a little bit, sort of be that roadblock, be that sort of chink in everybody's armor. But unfortunately for Herman, Gavin Petty not able to do that in this race, and this battle between Luca Varani and Gavin Petty is certainly it's a great battle. I mean, we've seen so much racing from them and really clean from both sides as we head back towards our battle for the lead. Faro now still ahead of Alistair Hay, but Hay every lap or so just getting a few hundredths of a second closer.
Yeah, 3/10 separates Faro and Hay, as the separation between Hermer and Faro is kind of stagnated at 11 seconds. So Samuel Hermer's lap times not proving the best idea to pit for these tires. And Hermer, if he doesn't come out of a top 5, I think he will be very disappointed with that idea to pit.
I think if he doesn't come home with the win, I think he'll be disappointed with the decision to pit, because he in theory had this one in the bag, and even if his tires were going to drop off more than everybody else on track,
he was still at 5 seconds behind him.
Yeah, I mean, so yeah, Herman's got to hope that everybody has some major tire issues at the moment, because it doesn't seem like anybody at the moment is struggling. You know, we've got Lafaro, who is currently only about 1/10 of a second slower on that last lap than his fastest lap of all. We've got Alistair Hay in second, actually doing his fastest lap of the race. So too has Rodrigo Duran in third. So the tyres at the moment are still providing plenty of grip, and you know, just has Hermer done? Has he committed to a plan too early and not necessarily read the conditions and sort of adapted on the spot? Only time will tell. Is Faro now a little bit slow? Yeah, I think he's going to be under pressure, but Alistair Hay doesn't really want to be in that slipstream at the moment, does he? He's not really following it. Now he is as we head towards or through turn 14 and 15. But Alistair Hay doesn't look like he wants to make a move at the moment, Austin. He just sort of wants to stay behind and think about his options maybe as we get closer to the race end.
I think he's just playing the long game right here. He knows he's faster. There's a little bit of smoke right there. Richie Robertson got a little bit loose, and Faro, he's definitely feeling the pressure right now as he defends onto the inside. Hay right on that gearbox. I think Hay is just playing the smart game, not forcing the Faro into a pretty big fight right there because he knows Hermer is chasing him down, and also he's probably looking after his own tires as Samuel Hermer down to the inside of Lucas Maruk for 5th place.
So crucially for Hermer, he was about 5/10 quicker on that last lap than Faro in the lead, but that's all been undone by him having to get past Lucas Maruk. Also, while that was all going on, Jerome Lamy's got past Rodrigo Duran, but he's just lost all that time that he gained on the last lap, and Hermer at the moment really not being able to make use of those new tyres. Faro, though, really under pressure through turn 11.
Starting to struggle with his tires. That was a very wide line coming out of the corner, and LaFaro, I think he's starting to struggle with his tires with Alistair Hay. Hay's just been watching LaFaro drive, and now LaFaro, you see him taking wide lines, very erratic lines to try to defend and break that drive from Alistair Hay. This fight for the lead might start to change ties towards Alistair Hay. Hay looks around to the outside, heading into the Senna S, as they go deep onto the brakes right there. And they both get onto the curb. LaFaro's car back end is twitching around right there as Alistair Hay is dancing around that gearbox as they race through the second part of the S, defending onto the inside. Here comes Alistair Hay, being down to the inside goes LaFaro, but Hermer, Alistair Hay not going for the move, but LaFaro, he's starting to fade, it looks like.
Yeah, he is, and this is crucial for Sam Hermer. He wants these two to fight as much as they possibly can, even. But Faro at the moment still holding on to that lead. But yeah, Faro had certainly an off lap, 1 minute 29 flat. Alistair Hay as well, a 28.8, and to put into context, Hermer with the 28 flat, so exactly a second quicker than Faro. And of course, Sam Hermer as well made the move on Lucas Maruk, but Hermer, you know, while these are battling and they are getting closer to him on track, he's still got to get past Rodrigo Duran and Jerome Lamy, and they are two difficult customers to get past. As once again, we see Faro having to defend on already from the exit of turn 12, and that's going to allow Alistair Hay to be in the slipstream. And are we going to see a move into turn 1?
Oh, this is definitely the place for Alistair Hay. Hay's all in that draft. Is definitely closing in on that time for the battle, diving out to the inside. Just selling a little bit of fake right there. Selling a dummy for LaFaro if he was going to bite right there, but he is right in that draft right there. As reports on the timing screen that Evan Way has fallen off the track right there, and he is still off the track. Here comes Alistair Hay round the outside, side by side they go. Hay and Faro side by side, and oh, Hay gets pushed off the track right there. Elbows out racing here at Interlagos for the season finale here in the iGPFUN, but Hay gets a better run, and ooh, almost a wheel touch right there through the mid corner as they have a little bit of switchback, and both of them kind of reset right now. Both are getting onto the brakes. That's definitely going to be slowing both of them up as Samuel Hermer is now within 8.2 seconds behind him. But Hermer, kind of the strategy in this race, it doesn't seem like it's going to be being paid off right now, but these two keep fighting with each other. It certainly looked like he's had a masterstroke of the strategy.
As indeed, and Evan Way as well. I think there was an issue between Luca Varani, Gavin Petty, and Evan Way. So that battle that we've been seeing as we have a look at the very sad-looking Evan Way's car. Even he's not currently in the car. As Alistair Hay stalking the back of Faro once again, looking towards the inside, pulls out down the inside. Evan Way goes.
That's a look. That is a look, and he's found the gap down the inside, but unfortunately was held out right there by LaFaro. LaFaro leaving the space. He left the space, but he left all the little space that he was required to do. As here comes Hay. Hay in the draft. Hay looking onto the outside, gets into the draft, and they make contact! The leaders make contact at the end of the straightaway, and that promotes Jerome Lamley, blinking Jerome Lamley into the lead, followed by Rodrigo Duran and Samuel Hermer, your top three. I don't believe it.
Absolute drama here at Interlagos, and it wouldn't be iGPFUN without a little bit of extra spice to the final part of the race. This is advantage Sam Hermer, but advantage Jerome Lamy as well, and maybe that blinking once again is going to play into Jerome Jerome's favour, because he's a little bit scary to overtake. You know, a little bit of netcode can certainly ruin your race. Rodrigo Duran as well, looking absolutely in the penalty at the moment. I can't believe it, absolutely can't believe it. And whether it was Vare just sort of moving across or Alistair Hayes sticking a nose where it wasn't warranted, I'm not quite sure on that one. But yeah, if you're Sam Hermer at the moment, you're counting your lucky stars that there isn't such a big gap towards the leaders. But interestingly, Maruk hasn't really fallen off the back of Hermer, and in fact, if anything, is gaining towards Sam Hermer once again. So anything could happen in the final few laps of this race.
He's got the draft of Samuel Hermer right there. But as they continue on, Rodrigo Duran was the second fastest car in the first part of this race. Other than Samuel Hermer, here comes Lucas Maruk. Just selling a dummy down to the inside. Not going to bite for that one is Samuel Hermer. But Hermer 4 seconds behind Lamley. Lamley is starting to pull away from Samuel Hermer. Hermer, I think, is starting to feel pressure from Lucas Maruk, and if Maruk starts putting pressure on Samuel Hermer, Hermer will not be able to close that gap to Jerome Lamley right there. But Lamley, who is blinking in and out and in and out, out and in and in and out, out and in and in and out, driving through and pretty much doing the drive-through with the connection to iRacing right there. He's kind of not giving any draft to Rodrigo Duran.
Yeah, that's a really good point there, and yeah, it's certainly working in his favour at the moment for Jerome Lamey, but Hermer's pace has just fallen off a cliff. He's absolutely nowhere at the moment, not been able to make any impact on this lap towards Jerome Lamey, and just falling into the clutching of Lucas Maruk as well. And for good measure, Lucas Maruk on an absolute fly. It's at the fastest lap last time by, or fastest lap for him.
Oh, this is not what you want to see if you were Samuel Hermer. Maruk around the outside, side by side they go. Samuel Hermer swings it through the inside line and kind of sets up Lucas Maruk for that great run of his. And now this fight for potentially what was going to be the chase for the lead is now kind of just gone out of the window for Samuel Hermer, and now it's the fight for third place. As Maruk down the inside, runs on the curbs just a little bit, but Maruk has pretty much got that one right there.
Has indeed, and yeah, so, Maruk's on almost twice as old tyres, so Sam Hermer's hypothesis that these tyres would be struggling hasn't come to fruition. Whether that's a difference in track temperature that was unforeseen, I am not sure, because it was sort of talk of the paddock that all of these tyres would be really struggling at the end of the race. But here was the other driver that pitted. It was Luedo, and he's down in 11th place, so it hasn't worked out for him either. So yeah, it does seem like just sticking it out on the tyres are really working. But Jerome Lamey, our race leader, is up 11 places from where he started. So absolutely incredible drive from the Brit, and he's had the pace all season and has really been quite unlucky. So you have to see that, you know, the luck's kind of come back to him a little bit in this final race.
Yeah, it has, but can his internet hold up with iRacing? That is going to be a question, because I know iRacing is kind of a little bit of a stickler for blinking at times. But he has pulled away from Rodrigo Duran, and Duran is, well, he couldn't answer that 27.4 that Jerome Lamley just put in right there. And if Lamley's internet can stay in there, that will be looking like victory for the Year 1 driver. And I think Year 1's first victory in the iGPFUN Formula 3 series.
Hasn't Jerome Lamey had a few victories before this season?
Yes, but not in that team.
Ah, I thought he was been with that team for a while now.
No. I've been with the series for about 2 years now. I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I don't doubt you. I just recognised that livery on Jerome Lamey's car. But yeah, interesting fact. And Lucas Maruk has absolutely great job up to third place past Sam Hermer, and Hermer just not able to respond to that whatsoever. Really just got no grip out there. So whether he's pushed his tyres too much once again and they've gone off, not sure. But Gavin Petty's had a fairly difficult few laps. I think he's had 2 forms of off tracks or form of incidents, and that's put him all the way down behind Adam Flint. And Luca Varani, who is once having that absolutely stellar battle with, is jockeyed off into the distance is Jerome Lamy sets fastest lap of the race once again. And Hermer 5/10 slower than Lucas Farouk on that last lap. His tyres are absolutely finished.
Yeah, those tires are knackered to a degree right there. And, well, it's pretty much just going to be the battle of, well, the tires versus internet and internet connectivity, it seems like. And we have seen some very unfortunate incidents, so it's not over for Rodrigo Duran, but it is over for Lucas Marouk, who has gotten past and Samuel Hermer, but Hermer's tires, I think he's just overcooked them on that outlap and is unable to chase them down. As we're looking at this fight for 6th place, Gavin Petty chases down Andy Flint right here. Looking at this fight, looking at the tail of the tape, it looks like Andy Flint is just slightly at a advantage here to Gavin Petty. Yeah, Gavin Petty's been having a very pretty downwards day.
Yeah, I have to concur from that. Once again, seeing Gavin Petty really excelling qualifying, but not able to convert those qualifying performances into the race, as we have a white flag on the race here at Interlagos and on the season as a whole. Jerome Lamy gives us all a heart attack by blinking once again at the apex of turn 1, but
did he
thankfully
the tires break for you? When he re-blinked for me, his tires popped off his car and I nearly had a heart attack. Lots of sparks and everything.
I thankfully didn't, but just the fact that he disappeared was enough for me to get a little bit concerned. As yeah, you rightly point out, we've had before on Turtle Sim Sport drivers drop out just before the line, and Jerome Lamy taking the very adventurous line into turn 6.
Well, I think Lamley, he saw his time last time compared to Rodrigo Duran, nearly 7/10 faster than Duran. Lucas Marouk can, that's a little bit of a stretch for me to say. Marouk is kind of in that opportunity if he wants to surprisingly overtake Rodrigo Duran, but they are too far away for that to make that work for the fight for 2nd place. So Jerome Lamley, he's got one corner, 2 corners to go right now, and this has been the least amount of blinking we have seen. So everything, when it mattered the most, he is back to solidify these results, taking the win for year 1, Jerome Lamley.
Almost into the pit wall as well. Skillfully controlled, though.
Out the season right there.
Well, I think there was a driver that actually did that in one of the real life races a few years ago at the Brazilian Interlagos track, but Alex Hopkins is still in the battle for the number 50 car. And a whopping 15 places up from where he started, so great job by Alex Hopkins. He's got Alan Day right behind him, and that's the driver who is hassling him the most. And just behind Alan Day, we have Nick Carty as well. So battle's not certainly not well and truly over on track. Nick Carty flying the Jamaican flag as we see Antonio Tellez come across the line in 10th place. He is up 6 places from where he started, and I think we're about to, as the camera pans around, see all the drivers doing their mandated donuts on the entrance to turn 4. There we go. And Jerome Lamy,
the end of the season.
Yeah, Jerome Lamy rightfully does a few donuts to celebrate that fantastic win.
They won't need these tires, they won't need these engines, they won't need these, they might be the cars. But what a season it has been, and what a way to end it off. Jerome Lamley taking the win, up 11 spots. And I'm thinking he might not have guessed that this would have happened right there, as everybody burns it down here at Interlagos to mark off the end of the iGPFUN Formula 3 Series. And Lamley, hey, backs it up and backs one in there. And I say, hey, give way to me. I'm about to spray some champagne with my donuts right here.
Yeah, very Daniel Ricciardo-esque incident, but Jerome Lamy, he's the race winner. He can do whatever he wants, but it's the eternal battle between what's going to break first. Are we going to have a few engine giving up the ghost, or will it be the tyres first? And there's only one way to find out, and it certainly looks like everybody is giving it a good go to find out who is the strongest out of them all. Is Congratulations to Jerome Lamy. Up an incredible 11 places.
Yeah, well, fantastic race by Jerome Lamley. A little bit of luck came in there at the end of the race of the collision between LaFaro and Alistair Hay at the entry of turn 4. Absolute heartbreaking moment by both of them, but that gave them the victory right there. And Jerome Lamley takes the win. And I feel like I found out what broke first. It might have been my graphics card.
I can concur. I think also my CPU didn't enjoy that. So thank you very much, iGPFUN. But what an absolutely incredible race.
It certainly was. Jerome Lamley takes the win, followed by Rodrigo Duran. Lucas Marouk and Samuel Hermer finishes off your top 4. They're followed by Luca Ferrani, Gavin Petty, Andy Flitt, Adam Talsma, Simon Fessi, Antonio Tellez, Alex Lado, Robert Ridgway, Stuart Miller, Clark Williams, Alex Hawkins, Nick Carty, Rodrigo in 17th, followed by Alan Day, Kujiaido, and Jeffrey Brewer, your top 20. They're followed by Matthew Brewer right behind him, followed by Gaston, clearly Richie Robertson, Reed Dennis, Patrick Rowlands, Matthew Gracie, Evan Way, Giuseppe Faro, and Alistair Hay. With that incident between them, they finished in 28th and 29th, 6 laps down, followed by Noel, Richie Robertson, James C. Clark, Brad Tallarico, Simon Gabriel, Hector Balaguer, Vincenzo Monroe, and Darren Rowlandson at the end of our grid. 36 cars entered here, but only one came out the winner, and that was Jerome Lamley.
Certainly was, and what a great drive from him. Of course, helped a little bit by the collision between the two leaders at the time. Of course, they were Faro and Alistair Hay, and just goes to show sort of the craziness of the race is that they come across the line in 28th and 29th place respectively. So drivers below them having even more issues than those two. But yeah, Jerome Lamy, he had the pace, and even set the fastest lap of the race in the end, and just had so much pace out there. And I think, to be honest, even with if those two ahead of him that eventually crashed, if they hadn't have crashed and just sort of continued to battle, I think we would have seen Jerome Lamy on the tail of them in a few laps time anyway. So Lamy just had it all going for him today. He had the pace, and yeah, and even without just I still can't get over the fact that he's 11 places gained from where he started. So it just goes to show you don't always need to have a good qualifying. It's the race that counts.
Yeah, to finish first you must finish. And it absolutely stands true. Sometimes qualifying doesn't always mean you got the win in the bag. What a fantastic day it's been, and what a fantastic season we have seen so far. Thank you, everybody, for joining us here on Total Sim Sport for the season finale here of iGPFUN. I've been joined by Seb Bosher-Williams and Sean Cranleigh-Swash in the production booth. And I'm Austin Knight, and I hope y'all have a good night. Spray the cheese.
So much cheese. Did you? Oh no.